Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. I know this video is completely different to what I usually do, and we're doing some other rival stuff, but I thought it'd be really cool to get started on the zombies mode, just so everybody can get through it. And I'm sure if the mode comes back next year, I know I'm doing a pretty late zombies mode, but if this comes back next year and Thor is still playable, you can definitely do it next year as well. So first things first, we're going to get into the how to prepare. First of all, we're going to go obviously to Thor. Once you hit your max level, which you can do by just playing with your friends in zombies mode, eventually you'll just level up to the max level, which is 40. You'll unlock all of these abilities and all of these traits. So let's talk about the abilities first. That is going to help you out the most. I highly recommend that you pick the Chain Bolt Mjolnir Bash basically ability. This makes it so it deals chain lightning damage by default, which is going to be huge when we pair it up with a card that we buy during the game mode later. And each hit, most importantly, just like Thunderous Slam, but Chain Bolt, we picked it for the lightning damage specifically by default, is each hit of the Mjolnir Bash restores Thor Force. So when you play Thor normally in the normal game, obviously you can only use Mjolnir Bash to get one of your Thor Force back, and then you have to usually use your hammer throw to get the other one back. But this one, when you equip Chain Bolt, you literally just hit the zombies as many times as you can and you get it back. This is handy earlier on if you don't get the stuff that you need, but we're going to talk about it a bit more in depth in a minute. Now, there's also the Lightning Realm ability, so I highly suggest that you pick the Concussion cell. There is the Bastion Dome. I don't really like this one. This is just personal preference. I've much rather the Concussion cell, because what it does is it stuns the zombies that run into your lightning realm. It stuns zombies that are inside it trying to leave the lightning realm and basically chase you. And then it also it stuns the enemies that are already inside it. So you can honestly, sometimes if you're really lucky with the timing, you can get double stun on a zombie that's already inside, and then they get to move again, and then once they get to the barrier they get stunned again. So that's why the Concussion cell, I think, is much better than the Bastion Dome, because the Bastion Dome just knocks the zombies outside the radius all the time, which is, it could potentially just knock a zombie back into you, which is something you don't want, because stunning the zombies leaves them in one place, so you have more control over the battlefield, which is exactly what you want in this game mode. Now, your ult. I've seen a few people pick Ion Siphon, but I really don't like this one. It basically attracts all the zombies to basically think of yourself as a lightning rod in your ult, and then they all get drawn towards you in a circle underneath you, and then you slam the ground. Honestly, not amazing, because when you get surrounded by zombies, sometimes you can't move, and if you can't move you get damaged, and if you get damaged you die. So highly recommend not picking this and picking Thunderclap Surge instead. Thunderclap Surge makes it so your ult keeps you alive for as long as possible. Most importantly, it creates a shockwave that launches all of the smaller zombies up. Now, there's a lot of different classifications of different smaller zombies, and we'll go through that. But most importantly, it then knocks them up, and when they're in the air, the only zombies that can potentially hit you are the ones that throw things. During this time, though, all the other zombies are completely useless. Fire zombies, useless. The zombies that usually run at you, useless. The zombies that crawl on the ground, useless. But the plague and grenade zombies, it does stun them for a little bit as well, but they still have, if they're already in the animation of throwing the projectile towards you when you do this, they will get the throw off. So just be a little bit careful about how you use that. Now, moving on to the traits, you are going to get 40 points when you reach your max level. Spend all of them on your blue side. There's no point running it on the red. I've tried everything in my power to make this red, all of the red stuff and the red cards work. It just doesn't work in Nightmare 4, unfortunately. It's really cool, it's really fun, but if you want to give this a try from like the normal mode, like if we go to the difficulty, if you want to do this red cards from normal to Nightmare 3, go for it. You'll have no problem doing that. But in Nightmare 4, the only way I have been able to successfully beat all of the waves, and I've only done it 4 times by the way, but I've done it a few times just to get the gist of it so I know exactly what's going on. And unfortunately, the Awakening Rune or the blue cards are the only way to go. Now, as you can see in Awakening Rune, they give you a few different things. The first one gives you a damage boost to all of your Mjolnir bash damage. Now, whenever you see Mjolnir bash, that doesn't just mean when Thor is swinging his hammer and like physically hitting people with his melee. Mjolnir bash also counts in your Awakening Rune stage when you're throwing the lightning projectiles at your opponents or zombies, right? So it counts as both of those things. Most importantly, it also gives you a health boost, which is super handy, and you're going to see all of the traits give you a health boost, which you need. This gives increased projectile size. The increased projectile size basically makes it so you can headshot multiple enemies, and even though you normally don't headshot in the normal game, in the zombies mode you can once you buy a card, and I'll explain that later. But other than that, if you haven't got that, you basically be hitting multiple zombies with one projectile, which means you're doing more damage, which means you'll get more lifesteal in the long run, which we'll also explain. This is the attack speed. Honestly, attack speed is the most useless thing in this game mode for Thor. So this one doesn't matter too much, but you have to unlock all of the previous points to get to the last one, and the last one increases your duration of Awakening Rune, and that's super important because the more time you are in Awakening Rune, the more damage you can do, and then that way you have the more damage you do, the more you can survive. That's the way it works, and obviously they will give you a health boost, which is super duper handy. Moving on to the cards. Like we said before, do not buy any of the red ones. They are all to do with Storm Surge, and that's basically it. Do not pick these cards unless you're doing it from like from normal to Nightmare 3. Definitely try it, have fun. This is like basically flying around with Thor. It's really fun, but as Nightmare 4, it's just not going to work. So, what cards should you get? And I'm going to do this in priority order. Which one should you get first? Which one should you get at the least priority? And which card should you not get at all? So the first one is Endstorm. Endstorm basically makes it so when you go in Awakening Rune, usually you hold down R2 or RT or right click or left click, whatever it is on PC. And he does the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 projectile pattern when he's Awakening Rune. But with this, once you get the Endstorm ability, you hold on R1 on the PlayStation controller or the RB on the Xbox controller. I'm not sure what it is on PC. It might be Shift or something like that. And basically, this turns your normal 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 projectile throws into just a constant spam of projectiles, and this does so much damage. And as you could tell, Endstorm, because it rapidly fires out projectiles, you no longer have a point for attack speed, like at all. It's completely nullifies attack speed altogether. Next most important card is Rune Recycle. By the way, Endstorm is a one-time purchase. Once you buy Endstorm Gold once, you never have to buy it again in your playthrough. Then there's Rune Recycle. Rune Recycle is also a one-time purchase. And it comes in 3 different tiers. Now, no matter which tier you buy Rune Recycle in, it all does the exact same thing. The only difference is the price in which you're spending your points. So this is going to be like 15 points, I'm pretty sure. This one is about 10, and this one here should be about 5 or something like that. If you're super lucky, you will get the blue card, which, by the way, we referred to the cards within the blue section, or any section that they are, by the stars colors. So gold, purple, blue, and then white or normal. So if you're super lucky, you get Rune Recycle blue here. That means you only spend 5 points on it, and then you have 10 points to spend on something else, rather than having to spend 15 points on the gold version. They all do the same thing. The gold, purple, and blue versions all do the same thing. It's just how much you're spending on it. And like I said, this is a one-time purchase, so once you get it, you don't need it again. But what does Rune Recycle do? Basically, it says that you get a portion of damage dealt back to your Thor force. And if you have Endstorm, by the time you finish your Rune Recycle, you will have all of your Thor force back immediately. There's a bit of a delay because you can't always go into Awakening Rune immediately after you end it. But if you wait for just a second, you will get it back immediately. And then you can just go, you'll see in the gameplay, it will be Awakening Rune, you run out, wait for 1 second, Awakening Rune, run out for 1 second. It's really not that long, and the downtime makes it so that this Rune Recycle is the best way to get your Awakening Rune back. If you're in a lower level, Rune Recycle is not important, but for Nightmare 4, it really is. Like I said, if you're super lucky, you might get the purple version, which you're spending less points on, and you might get the blue version, which you're spending less points on again. So moving on to the Power Prolongation. So this is number 3 on the list, and the reason you want Power Prolongation is the longer you're in your Awakening Rune, the more damage you do, the longer you stay alive. That's the gameplay cycle, right? Obviously, buy every tier of this except for the normal tier. So buy the gold, buy the purple, buy the blue one, and if you have a couple points left over and you're not going to see yourself spending it on anything else, then yeah, sure, buy the normal one. If you have like 1 or 2 points left, just spend it on it. But usually spending your points on the normal cards is not worth it because you're getting more value out of these cards, out of the higher tier cards, like the gold, the purple, and the blue. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory of how Prolongation works. Increases the timer of your Awakening Rune. Like I said, the longer it is, the more damage you do. The more damage you do, the more you stay alive, and the more you stay alive, the more less you die. So that's just the way it works. Now, your big damage multiplier is called Cranium Crusher. Cranium Crusher basically makes it so your projectiles start doing critical damage. And if you don't know what critical damage is, it's basically headshot damage in this game. And this is stackable. So this is not a one-time purchase. By the way, Power Prolongation, buy as many times as you can. And we'll explain up until how much later. But Cranium Crusher is buy this card infinitely. And I literally mean infinitely. Because this is where all your damage comes from. This is like the highest damage multiplier you'll ever get in Thor's cards. Buy the purple, and I'm pretty sure that is it. There's only one version of this, right? Yeah, it's only purple. So every time Cranium Crusher comes up, buy it. And this increases your headshot multiplier. It will go from 2 to 3 times to 4 times to 5 times to 6 times. As you times things by numbers, they only exponentially increase, which is only exponentially increasing your damage. So the more critical damage and more Cranium Crusher cards you buy, the more insane damage you're going to have. And like I said, buy this infinitely until you run out of them. Or until like you get to the last wave, because this will pop up every most likely every single time until the last wave. So every time you see it, definitely buy it. Then there is Thunder Havoc. Thunder Havoc comes in the purple cards only, right here. And like before, one of your traits increases the projectile size of your projectiles, obviously. This does the same thing, but is way better because it stacks, right? So as you can see, it does 55%, which if you take your normal projectile and then increase it by half of it and then add it on, that's what it is. And it keeps increasing it as long as you keep buying this. Just like Cranium Crusher, you can buy this infinitely. So every time Thunder Havoc shows up, buy it. That way you can hit multiple headshots at once, which you guys will see in gameplay, and you'll just keep hitting multiple zombies at once, multiple squids at once. Even if you have to hit multiple bosses at once to survive, you can do it with this card, and very easily as well. Yeah, like I said, the Thunder Havoc increases the projectile size, so it does work with your headshot multipliers as well. So you can headshot multiple zombies with one projectile. And once you get to a certain stage, you're going to be shooting 3 projectiles at once. You're going to be headshotting so many zombies at once with this. So, like I said, buy infinitely until you get to basically the last wave. And the least priority on the list, but something you should prioritize over purple cards, over damaging purple cards. So if we go here, you're going to buy purple cards normally. There's a normal purple card that increases your damage called Power Surge. This increases your damage by 35% to all of your attacks. But we're only using Awakening Rune. So we have All Father's Might. And as we can see, once you get to the purple version of All Father's Might, you have a 65% increase on the purple card to your Awakening Rune damage. This card is infinitely better than this. So if this pops up, this gold card pops up, and then this purple card pops up, you buy this purple card. This purple card is infinitely better than the purple damage card, or Power Surge I should specifically call it. This is much better. Buy All Father's Might every single time it pops up. Even if you buy some of the normal All Father's Mights, this is the only card where buying the normal version of it is actually okay, because it's just contributing slowly to all of your overall damage in your Awakening Rune. So buy all versions of All Father's Might, the normal, the blue, the purple. Buy every single one of them every time it shows up, and you can buy these infinitely. This is literally your main source of damage. Even though this is the lowest priority on the blue card list, this is the main source of how you get your damage without getting the crazy multiplier, right? The multiplier is something that's insane. If you can get it like 7, 8, 9 times, you know, then of course get this. But at the same time, get this as well, because these things only work together and they just go so insane. They do so much damage, right? Now, in terms of blue cards, I've almost finished talking about them, so we've left one set of cards out only. And this is the card you should not buy. Enchanted Flurry. Enchanted Flurry increases your attack speed, but like we said before, if you buy Endstorm, which changes all your projectiles to rapid fire, Enchanted Flurry doesn't do anything. Now you might say, doesn't it make the rapid fire even faster? No, it doesn't. The rapid fire is 1 speed. The rapid fire is literally 1 speed, so Enchanted Flurry's attack speed does nothing. Sure, it can make you swing your hammer really fast in your normal melee, but in Nightmare 4 you're not going to be in that, like, at all. You're only going to be in Awakening Rune or your ult or using Lightning Milk. That's all you're going to be using. So Enchanted Flurry, never buy a single card of it unless you're in a super dire situation, which we will talk about later in the gameplay section. Now, moving on to the purple cards. Like the blue cards, we're going to explain them in the priority order from first to last, and then cards that you shouldn't buy. There's one card in here that is very complex to explain, and it has a lot to do, but we'll get through it when we do. So, the first most important card, if it ever pops up in your playthrough, is Full Moon. Full Moon increases the amount of points you get every single round by 10%. So if you get, in some of the middle rounds, you only get a small amount of points, maybe like 20. If you increase that by 10%, you get an extra 2 points. But then on the bigger rounds, when they give you big points, like 200 points, that's going to increase by 20 points. And all of a sudden, you're getting a lot more value in the long term out of your points. By the way, you can only buy Full Moon up to 3 times maximum, which means you can have a maximum of 30%. And even if this pops up by the 19th wave, buy it. It's worth it every single time. This card is worth 15 points, but still worth it. Absolutely worth it. And this is the most important card that you're going to get for your longevity of your run, basically. Now, the second most important card, and this card is important on all the characters. It's important on Punisher, Jeff, Thor, and Magic. Less so on Blade, because Blade already has a base kit version of this, but you still do buy it on him in Nightmare 4. And this is Vampiric Vitality. This card does exactly what it says it does. Convert 5% of damage dealt into self-healing. This means all of the damage that you do to the enemy is coming back to you at a 5% cost. So if I do 100% damage to a zombie, I'm getting 5% health back. However, this card can be bought infinitely. So the 5% can become 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50. This can keep going until 100%. Until all of your damage you're doing is brought back to you as health. Which, in the example that I have, and I'm going to show you guys, it's not the best run, but I'm showing you guys this run specifically because it's the most realistic run you're going to get. And yeah, this is basically how you stay alive. Remember the gameplay cycle of how we were saying you need to have power prolongation so you can stay in your Awakening Rune, and you need all this extra damage, and because you're doing extra damage you're going to then stay alive. That is all because of this Vampiric Vitality card. The more damage you do, the more you stay alive with this card. This card will keep you alive through the entire run, as long as you have enough health, well, which we'll talk about in a second. Next is Zeus's Thunder. Now, this is the most complex card to explain, but we're going to get through it. By the way, Full Moon is only gold, and Vampiric Vitality is only gold as well. However, Zeus's Thunder comes in gold and purple, 2 levels. Both of them are worth getting. Definitely get both of them whenever you see them. But what does it do? It has a 20% chance, so it has a 1 in 5 chance of dealing additional damage to 3 other enemies. So imagine there's a group of 4 zombies. You hit one of them, there's a 1 in 5 chance that the rest of the 3 zombies sitting around that one zombie will get hit with an increased damage, not the same damage. Let's say you do 100 damage directly to one of the zombies, and then the 1 in 5 chance triggers. all the other 5 zombies will be taking plus 380 damage. So if I'm doing 100 damage, that would end up being about almost 500 damage to all of the other zombies. And obviously, if you get the purple card, it's only 160%, but they stack. These cards, these Zeus's Thunder cards, stack infinitely. And if you buy them up to 5 times, your 20% chance becomes 100%. And as you can tell where I'm going with this, your 1 in 5 chance goes to a 2 in 5 chance, to a 3 in 5 chance, to a 4 in 5 chance, to 100%, where this is guaranteed to trigger every single time. And it doesn't matter if you buy the purple or the gold version, they both increase your chance of triggering by 20%. The only difference between them is how much damage they do to the zombies around them. This is extremely handy, especially when you target the sentinel zombies, which we'll talk about soon. But yeah, and by the way, your chain lightning damage that you get from Zeus's Thunder's card and your base kit chain lightning, which we got from Mjolnir's bash before, all counts towards your Vampiric Vitality conversion back to your health. This is a huge damage multiplier, much like your Cranium Crusher, much like your Thunder Havoc. So this is just as important, Zeus's Thunder, as those cards. Now we get on to the 4th card that is super important to buy every now and then. You don't need to buy a whole mass of these, and I'll give you checkpoints as to where you should be at each wave. But by the time you get to the end of the wave of basically the game mode in wave 20, you need to have about 10,000 health to live, which sounds like a lot. And that's why you're going to buy plenty of vitality boosts. Vitality boosts is worth buying in the gold section, and in the purple section, and in the blue section. If you have 1 or 2 points left over, sure, buy the normal one. There's no point, right? You might as well just buy it. But definitely buy the blue one. Definitely buy the purple one. Definitely buy the gold version of this. You need health in Nightmare 4, especially by yourself. Sure, when you're playing from normal to Nightmare 3, you literally don't need to buy health at all. It literally doesn't matter. By Nightmare 4, and especially in solo, you need help. Almost just as important, but I deemed it just a little bit lower than the vitality boost, is the Moonlight Protection. Moonlight Protection, where is it? Let's see somewhere. There we go. Comes in 2 rarities, purple and blue. Over here. Buy both of these. And this basically makes it so each time you take damage, it ends up being less and less and less and less. The more you buy these, the more it stacks. You can buy these infinitely as well, just like the Vitality Boost cards and the Zeus's Thunder cards. Keep buying them. Every time Moonlight Protection pops up, buy it. It literally works as, taking 5% less damage, 10% less damage, 15% less damage, 20% less damage. You can stack these infinitely until it goes above 100% as well. So you can go, if you really do get so many of these cards, you can make it so you take negative 150 damage. Like, it's something that works like that. So I wouldn't go nuts on buying these things, but whenever they do pop up, I definitely suggest buying them. Because like we said, there are some more important cards that we've already discussed. And of course, there's Power Surge. Now, as I explained before, Power Surge is a good card, but if you have an option between buying All-Father's Might and Power Surge, you're going to buy All-Father's Might. But if you don't have a choice and you're getting super unlucky, and let's say you're getting a lot of purple cards, which in the run I'm going to show you I did, buy it. Just buy it. It's fine. Sometimes you just get super unlucky and it is the way it is, but buy them. And like you're going to see, this is the least amount of priority cards, the Power Surge. Don't buy the normal ones unless you, like we said before, have 1 or 2 points left. You might as well. And if you're getting super unlucky, then definitely buy them. You're not getting many blue cards. But that's how you do these stuff in order. Now, there are 2 cards that we haven't talked about yet. And these are the 2 cards that you should not buy. Do not buy these cards at all. First off is Restorative Respire. This is the worst card in the game for any character. This basically makes it so you get 75 health back every second when you're outside of the wave's combat. Useless. And it's useless because of Vampiric Vitality. By the time you get to the end of a wave, what happens is one of 2 things, right? Or basically, it all ends up being one thing. When you get to the end of the wave, there's only a few limited amount of zombies left. You kill them, and because you kill them, you get all of your life back. So, what's the point of restoring health during the downtime if your health is already full? Restorative Respire, completely useless on all characters, not just Thor. Completely useless, do not buy this card. And on top of that, there's another card that is just as useless for Thor specifically. I think you could use it on some other characters, but I don't think it's very good altogether, and that's called Primordial Frost. This comes in a few different rarities, which is gold, purple, I think just gold and purple, just like Zeus' Thunder, yeah. Okay. So, Primordial Frost is extremely situational. Now, basically, long story short, definitely do not buy this card if it pops up. And if that's all you want to know, I suggest skipping to the next timestamp. But I'm just going to quickly explain to you guys why this card is not good on any character. This has a 3%, so 3 out of 100% chance of freezing an enemy. And if that frozen enemy is defeated, so you have to kill the zombie while it's frozen, it explodes, which then does damage to zombies around them. Sounds good. Sounds good. Until you think about there's a 3% chance that a zombie gets frozen, which is extremely low. And by the way, if you do buy more of these cards, obviously the chance increases by 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, the 3 times it keeps going. But the zombies always move in this game mode. So the chance that you freeze a zombie, and then if you're dealing enough damage to defeat it while it's frozen, to then explode zombies near it, is super unlikely. This card is extremely too situational, and it's unreliable to occur. And if there was a character that did base kit freezing in their kit, then I could understand it working. But none of the characters do this. None of these characters do that at all. So why would you ever want that? Oh yeah, you have to defeat the frozen zombie. If you don't defeat the frozen zombie while it's frozen, the chance of blowing up the zombies around them does not happen. So, yeah. Now let's talk about the spending points correctly and luck and all that sort of stuff. So, in the first point, when you are spending all of your points in the first wave, you just load into the game mode, you picked your character, and it's like you must prepare and spend all your points. There are some cards that you must have bought, and there are some certain requirements with Thor that you must reach by the first wave. First of all, you need Endstorm, you need Rune Recycle, you need some versions of Power Prolongation, and you need Cranium Crusher. At least one Cranium Crusher in your first set of spending points. If you do not get all of these, just restart the game. There's no penalty for restarting this game mode at all when you play solo. So just do it. It's better you restart the game mode and save yourself the time rather than getting through a few waves and then you die and then you realize you're going to keep dying and then you got to restart anyway. And then you spend a whole bunch of revives that you shouldn't have. Ideally, on your first set of point spending that we're talking about, you want to be on a split of 70 points on blue and about 50 on purple. Now, they vary in between. You're going to see in the run I have, it was about 60-60-ish. But 70-50 is a bit better. Even if you have something like 80-30, that'd be amazing for the blue points. So 80 on blue and 30 on purple. That'd be really cool. But like I said, it doesn't have to be exact. As long as you have the cards that we've talked about before, you're good to go. And a little bit of health and lifesteal and stuff, you're off to a very good start. Now, reaching Wave 5, what are some of the requirements at this stage? Your first boss is Zombie Namor, and you're only going to verse Zombie Namor. You must have at least 4,000 health and some form of lifesteal. Most importantly is the lifesteal. 4,000 health is a bit of a minimum. If you have 5,000 health, that's pretty good. And if you just keep attacking the zombie Namor, you are not going to do anything. You must kill the squids. You also, at this point, this is the first boss, you must have spent at least 120 points on blue cards. If you have not spent 120 points on blue cards, just restart the game mode. Just restart it. You're in for a terrible time. Now, you're probably saying, what if I didn't get the cards that you were suggesting? What if I get so many Enchanted Flurries in Wave 4 before I reach Wave 5? Buy them. I know I said not to buy them, but in the worst case scenario possible, if you need to buy Enchanted Flurry just so you can reach 120 blue points, do it. Just do it. Because once you reach 120 points, your one singular stream of projectiles becomes 3. And your damage, obviously, mathematically, logically, you think about it, one stream times 3. Your damage is now tripled, which means your lifesteal is now tripled. Right? And this is going to stay with you for the entire game. You need to get this ability before the first boss. Now, obviously, when you're in the first part of the boss mode, you need to kill all the zombies first. You also, if you run out of zombies to kill, and they're still gonna come later on, shoot the squids. You need to stay alive. That is the most important thing. As soon as you see a bunch of zombies in the distance coming towards you, aim at them, kill them, and then go back to shooting squids. Zombies are your first priority, and then when there's nothing left, shoot squids. If zombies occur again, shoot zombies, then go back to shooting squids. Eventually you'll do so much damage that you'll catch up on how many squids are spawning. That's just how it is. But then you're going to get into the other stage, the final stage of the boss Namor battle, which is where he starts, he puts himself on the ground basically, and all sorts of team up squids and big squids and everything starts spawning from the sky. And they're all going to target you. You need to target Namor and squids at the same time as Thor. This ensures that you stay alive. Staying alive is the most important thing, because if you die, there's a big chance that the damage they do in a burst amount is going to kill you instantly. So just aim at least 2 streams of your projectiles at squids and one of them at Namor. Eventually you will kill him. Now, during this time, you're going to see Namor starts using multiple ults at the same time. If you get in a really dire situation and the ult is about to hit you, use your ult. This puts you in the air so you cannot be stunned by the ult, and then once you slam the ground, go straight back into Awakening Rune and doing exactly what we said before. This will keep you alive enough that you'll eventually just defeat Namor. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest. If you cannot defeat Namor and you needed to use a revive, just because like he out-damaged you or you're not doing enough lifesteal or you're just not surviving, brutally honest, just restart. Do not spend the revive this early. It's not worth it. If you're dying to Namor, and let's say you die directly because of Namor ult, okay, fair enough, that's a mistake, use a revive. But if you die because of anything else besides the Namor ults, you need to restart, because you're not doing enough damage or lifesteal or something that is going to get you through the next waves. So the zombie waves obviously get harder, they spawn more zombies and all those sorts of things. Eventually you get to wave 10. Now by wave 10 you should have about 6,000 health, and at this stage you're trying to get your power prolongation on your Awakening Rune to reach 300 seconds. If it's not quite there yet and you're about 200, don't worry about it, but definitely work on it from here on, because it's really important. This is your first Scarlet Witch boss fight, and there's only one of them. And in the normal phase, and just like Namor, zombies are going to spawn and Scarlet Witch is going to attack you at the same time. Most important thing with Scarlet Witch is keep moving. You do not want to get stunned. And this is also important with Namor later on, but in the 1v1 against Namor with the first boss, it's not important. You need to kill the zombies first, but at this stage you might be killing the zombies pretty fast. So know when you're hitting zombies and when they've died, because then you need to immediately target the Scarlet Witch. Because if you're not hitting anything, you're not getting lifesteal, which means you're not going to survive. Okay? In the normal phase, just make sure that one of your 3 streams of projectiles in your Awakening Rune is doing critical damage to her. That's enough and you'll stay alive, and she'll take a whole bunch of damage at the same time. Eventually, you'll damage her so much that she'll go into the AoE phase, where she gets in a ball and then she starts spamming AoE attacks across the entire map. There's no getting out of this. This does damage everywhere. You cannot hide from this damage. This really checks out whether you have enough lifesteal or not. Biggest recommendation is aiming all 3 projectiles at her orb when she's doing the AoE attack. You're doing the most damage, which means you're going to stay alive longer, and keep moving at maximum speed. Do not get caught by a single stun. If you do get caught by a stun and you live it, you know you're doing okay. If you get caught by a stun in this stage and then you die immediately, you are not doing well. Eventually she'll break her orb, and then she gets into this stunned state. At this stage, get right in front of her and make sure all 3 projectiles are headshotting her at the exact same time. This is where you get the most damage on her as possible, so that obviously this fight becomes a little shorter. Eventually she'll do this a couple of times. She'll go through the AoE phase a few times, and then you'll get to the final countdown stage in the Scarlet Witch boss fight. She sits there, and then there's a timer on the screen that slowly goes down. The only way you can increase the timer is shooting the crystals that spawn next to her. These can spawn anywhere, above her, behind her, in front of her, to the left or right of her. They can spawn literally anywhere. They will be close to her though. Break these crystals so that you have more time. As Thor specifically, you want to aim at least one of your projectile streams at her head, dealing critical damage, so you know you're doing the damage, and another one shooting the crystal at the same time. If you do this, and you're doing the headshot damage and destroying crystals at the same time, you should be able to kill her. Now, let's say there's a scenario that you're doing this, and the timer runs out. Mistake was, or you're super unlucky, that you're not doing enough damage. That's just how it is. And then you might as well just restart. Which the game is going to force you to restart if you die to the timer anyway. But yeah, that's literally how you should do every Scarlet Witch one. And we'll talk about that a bit more in a second. Moving on to Wave 15, you now have a boss Namor and a boss Scarlet Witch. You need to have at least 8,000 health. Minimum. Now, if you don't have 8,000 health, you must have some crazy lifesteal out of Vampiric Vitality, like I did in this run. If you don't have 8,000 health, you're basically guaranteed to die if you do not have some crazy amount of lifesteal. By this point, you should have at least 300 seconds of Awakening Rune. And once you reach 300 seconds of Awakening Rune, even if you do it before reaching Wave 15, don't buy any more power prolongation, you have enough. 300 seconds is enough to live through anything in your Awakening Rune, as long as you're doing enough damage. Now, like I said, there's a Namor and there's a Scarlet Witch at the same time. What do you do first? Obviously, zombies are spawning, kill the zombies first. When the zombies die, make sure you know when they're dead, and attack the Namor squids first. As Thor, you need to kill Namor first. Because eventually, once you get into the Scarlet Witch's AoE phase, and then you have Namor doing his infinite squid stuff, you're not going to be having enough life still, no matter how much you have. So, focus on Namor first. Get rid of the squids first. I know it's really annoying. Scarlet Witch is going to get in your way half the time. She likes to teleport in front of you and take all the damage. Avoid her as much as you can, and just kill the zombies and kill the squids. The reason we go for Namor first is we want to get him into his final stage where he comes down and then all the squids start spawning. When there's so many squids, because of your chain lightning cards and your headshot cards and your damage cards, and everything multiplies all together, that you'll be killing so many squids. I kid you not. I don't think any other character in the game mode does this, but you are a character that can literally kind of kill almost all the squids that he spawns and him at the same time, and the lifesteal that you're doing during this time is insane. And that's why we kill Namor squids first rather than Scarlet Witch, because Scarlet Witch has a timer. If you don't kill Scarlet Witch during that time, you immediately die. So, let's talk about if you make a mistake, right? If you make a gameplay mistake, you get hit by Namor holds. You get blown up by a zombie. You get stunned by Namor into a grenade from a zombie. Yes, revive. It's okay to revive if you make a gameplay mistake. But while, like we said before, if you're dying simply because you're not doing enough damage, or you're just not living enough, or you're not having enough lifesteal, you might as well restart. I know it's really disheartening to get to wave 15 and having to restart, but you're not going to get much further anyway, unfortunately. And that's pretty much it. And then you do the same thing. Once Namor dies, Scarlet Witch by herself is extremely easy at this point. There's like nothing can catch you out at this point. So that's wave 15 in a nutshell. Once you get to wave 20, let's talk about some requirements. First of all, there's going to be 2 Scarlet Witches. And you must, this is a minimum, you must have 10,000 health. If you don't have 10,000 health, you're going to run into some big problems. You are literally possibly going to get one-shot by a lot of things. So you must have that health requirement, minimum. Multiple lifesteal cards at this point, at least 5. I think in the run I had about 10. So I was doing really well with lifesteal. And that's why my minimum health of 10,000 actually got me through it. Now, if I didn't have much lifesteal, like I had less than what I got, definitely you need more than 10,000 health. But 10,000 health is a minimum requirement. What's the game plan here? You must focus on one Scarlet Witch at a time. It doesn't matter which one, because they both do the same thing, but you must focus on one Scarlet Witch at a time. Now, as Thor, this is the most difficult part, because you're the only character that shoots a projectile that can damage multiple things. Technically Jeff does this, but his is a little different. Jeff is something that does piercing damage. Thor has 3 different streams of projectiles, which can hit multiple things at the same time. This can stuff over focusing on one Scarlet Witch strategy. Now, you're going to see in this gameplay, I sort of bobbed in between both Scarlet Witches for a bit because I was unsure on which one to kill first. Obviously, when the zombies spawn, kill the zombies as soon as you can. And zombies die really fast at this point. So, you're only going to shoot them with Thor for like maximum 4 seconds, and then you're going to go back to shooting Scarlet Witch in the head. Once you target one Scarlet Witch into that AoE phase, you're golden. You're so golden, right? Then you just get her through, get one of them on the timer, destroy the crystals on her at the same time, and then once you get to one down to one Scarlet Witch, the game is over. You won. There's no dying at that point. However, in the run I'm showing you, I got Scarlet Witch in both Scarlet Witches in the AoE phase. Big mistake. But I still lived it. And this is where you start to do a bit of a gameplay balance between the two if you make this mistake. This can happen because, like we said, the projectiles is a 3 stream instead of 1. So you can hit both Scarlet Witches at the same time. It happens, and it most likely will happen. That's why I picked this playthrough to show you guys that it's the most realistic one. As soon as they get into the ball AoE phase, shoot the one that's in the ball. If the other one happens to do that at the same time, shoot them. Eventually, you'll get one low enough to about 40-ish thousand. If they're both in the AoE phase, one is at about 40,000 health, and another one is about 60. Focus on the 40,000 one and leave the other one in the AoE phase. At this point, you should be making enough lifesteal that if she goes into a final phase, you can kill her and then focus on the second Scarlet Witch in the AoE phase. And then eventually you can kill her. Like I said, once you get down to one Scarlet Witch, it's extremely simple. You know you've won at that point. Now, let's talk about some gameplay stuff, just to keep you alive, because there's some tricky situations that the game does put you in, and you need to know how to survive them. So, first of all, let's talk about the types of zombies. The Sentinel zombies are the easiest in this game mode, in solo zombies, is because they dramatically nerfed the Sentinel zombies in solo. They have way less health in this, but they still do a lot of damage. In the first few waves, they still will one-shot you, so do not let them hit you. And you're going to see in my gameplay, I'm sort of moving in a circle around the map, always moving in a circle. Now, if something gets behind me, something does a little bit of damage, I will change my pathing a little bit so that I'm able to zigzag through in a diagonal direction and then continue my circle pathing. Now, I went anti-clockwise. If you guys feel comfortable doing it clockwise, then do it clockwise. It's totally up to you guys. But as long as you're moving in a circle, this ensures that if Sentinel zombies do their running move at you, they will not hit you. Because when they do the running move and then they stomp the ground at the end of their run, that will one-shot you. So if you do not move in a circular direction and you just keep moving backwards, eventually you're going to run out of room, eventually you're going to catch up to you, and eventually you're going to get hit, and then eventually you die. So everything has an effect in this. And you're going to see in a lot of my gameplay here, I'm focusing on a lot of the projectile zombies first, rather than the zombies that are chasing me down. Now, there are two types of projectile zombies. There's a plague zombie, which is the green guys you can see, and then there's a grenade zombie. The grenade zombie is sort of like a red hue with a black type pattern, but you can clearly see they throw a red arcing grenade at you. These grenades do a lot of damage. Same with the plague zombies. The plague zombies AoE green stuff on the ground does so much damage. You need to kill them first. This is the most likely thing to kill you because they are aiming at you. The zombies that follow you will keep following you as long as you keep moving. And eventually if they do catch up, sure, you can hit them a few times and eventually they'll go back to there's not enough numbers catching up with you, and that's a gameplay thing, right? But you must kill the projectile zombies first. The plague zombies and the grenade zombies. You must kill them. I forget what the grenade zombies are called in this game mode, but I'm just going to call them grenade zombies. Once you get all the grenade zombies and the plague zombies out, you're golden. Trust me. The red zombies that run at you frantically, sure they do some damage, but they'll never one-shot you. So it's fine. You should always be doing enough damage and life steal that you should live it. Now, what if it becomes super overwhelming? Zombies from every side. You haven't got enough rid of enough of them, or they're catching up really fast. Use lightning. Use the stun. Use that to create a bit of space. Because when you have space, your projectiles fan out more, and therefore do more damage to more zombies at the same time. The more quicker you get rid of them, right? The more distance you have between you and the zombies, the better. On top of this, the zombies chasing you down will be the frantic ones that chase you, the ones that crawl on the ground, and then the sentinel zombies. These three usually run all together. There's also fire zombies. Fire zombies chase you too. 4 zombies. What you do during this time is headshot the shit out of sentinel zombies. Why the sentinel zombies, you're saying? Because when you headshot sentinel zombies, we have Zeus's thunder. Zeus's thunder makes it so all the other small zombies and all the other sentinel zombies clumped up chasing you are getting the mass amount of damage, chain lightning damage. And this blitzes through all of them as long as you're headshotting the sentinels. Because the headshot critical damage that you're dealing ends up applying to your chain lightning damage, plus the 300 or whatever amount of stack percentage you have. You could have 1,000 stack percentage at that point. So, and if you're up to 100% chance, it's going to happen all the time and it's guaranteed. So headshotting the sentinel zombies when all the zombies are clumped in together is the best strategy. Now, when you're increasing your Thunder Havoc cards, right, you need to be headshotting multiple sentinel zombies at the same time. Try and headshot as many as you can, because the chain lightning will take over to all the zombies next to them. Remember, for every 1 zombie you hit, another 3 zombies are getting hit by chain lightning. So it's the perfect trade-off when all the zombies are put together. Now there's some other trickier situations, right? Obviously, just talk about the fire zombies really quick. Fire zombies next to you, as long as you're moving backwards and away from them, you should never die to them. Fire zombies in all capacities are insta-kills, so do not get caught by fire zombies at all. In any mode, from normal to Nightmare 4, all fire zombies one-shot, they kill you. So let's talk about the tricky situations that you can get into. Now, these usually happen during the boss phases and zombies spawning at the same time, but it can happen during the normal phases as well. What if there's so many zombies that you're going to die? Use your lightning realm, use your ult to get out of there. Don't be afraid to get onto the higher platform on where the higher zombies spawn. You can go up there, but don't think you're bulletproof up there. Because if they are plague and grenade zombies, they will throw projectiles up there and you will die. Guaranteed. In this point, let's say Namor bubbles you and they're grenade zombies throwing grenades at you and below you. What do? As soon as you get out of the bubble, ult and move away from where you got bubbled. This ensures that you stay alive and you do get insta-killed from the grenades. Same with plague zombies. If you're getting bubbled or stunned by Scarlet Witch, now Scarlet Witch is a little different, but if you're getting stunned and they're plague zombies throwing their AoE damage below you, use your ult to get out of there. Obviously try and move away from the mass amount of zombies, but don't land directly in the middle of a pile of zombies, right? Because then you're going to get stuck and then they'll do damage and then you just can't get out of it. That's just how it is. Now, like I said, Scarlet Witch's stun is a little different because her stun can trigger you out of your ult. So if you get stunned by her orb and then you ult and then it stuns you again, your ult will get cancelled. And you'll get stunned, and then there's a big chance a zombie just comes and kills you. So when Scarlet Witch is around, make sure you're just moving around at maximum speed. Now, it's really tricky when Namor and Scarlet Witch are working together, because at this point, you want to use your ult, because Scarlet Witch is going to spawn the orbs beneath you, and then Namor captures you in the orb, and then pulls you upwards. If you see that there's a stun below you from Scarlet Witch, use your ult to get out of there. Ult is the best way to survive in this game mode, by far. Okay? Now, one last thing. This isn't super gameplay related. And by the way, if you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer all your questions about the game mode for Thor. For other characters, I have a little bit of experience. If you want to know how difficult it is as Thor compared to all the other characters, I'd say he's the second hardest character to deal with. The hardest character by far is Jeff. Like, Jeff is just the worst character to deal with. Then I would say, like, Magic, then Punisher, then Blade. You can interchange Magic and Punisher levels, to be honest. But let's talk about one small thing that doesn't affect gameplay, or it technically does. That's the skins, right? Skins don't really affect your gameplay, but they do obscure your vision sometimes on this game mode. And the most important thing on this game mode is making sure that you can see where you are and where you are going at all times. You don't want to get caught out by anything and make a silly mistake and then die. Anything with a cape obstructs your view. So Thor, Love and Thunder, I like the skin, I know a lot of people don't, probably don't run the skin. The coolest skin in the game, in my opinion, the Rune King Thor one, is the worst skin to run in the zombies mode because of the top half of his cape. This blocks a lot of the vision behind you. Coolest skin, but don't run it just for the zombies mode because it makes it a little bit harder to see around you. There's the Hellfire Gala one, which also has a cape, makes it difficult to see around you. There's also the Herald of Thunder, which also has a cape. But all the other skins that don't have capes are probably the best ones to use, so you can see what's behind you. Like I said, the worst offender is the Rune King Thor one because of how the top part of the cape is. But if you want to use the Racing Thor one, use that. You can see perfectly clear. Definitely don't use a classic one that has a cape. Like I said, you can use the cape ones if you want. I did it multiple times with capes, but it was just easier when there was no cape, so I could see what's going on a bit more. There's also the swimsuit skin, Worthy Waves. Run that, it's a great idea. Then there's the normal skins with the recolors if you want to run that as well, so you don't have the cape and obstructing your views. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. This is my first Marvel Rivals video, so thank you so much for watching. For the people that did, I really appreciate you guys. I have a YouTube membership, so as soon as I upload these videos, you guys get access to them instantly rather than a scheduled date, which I usually do a week or a few weeks in advance. So you guys get instant access to my videos. And please subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subs by the end of 2025, and maybe into 2026 a little, but yeah, just know that I appreciate every single one of you that do subscribe and hit the notification bell. Not only do we create content on Marvel Rivals, but we have, Mortal Kombat. We have MK1 content we're still making. We got MK Legacy Collection. We're going to do Ghost of Yote Legends. We do Dead by Daylight content. We stream a lot of Dead by Daylight 2 and Marvel Rivals. So hit the notification bell so you guys get notified every time we drop a video and go live. So, and when you subscribe, you can play with your boy for free on Marvel Rivals. So, like I said, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer you guys in terms of this game mode or anything else in the channel or whatever. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See yous.